The Flash episode 4, Going Rogue. Now, before I get into the main story of this, there are like a couple of points I have to mention before I forget them all. One was towards the very end of the episode when Felicity and Barry were talking. They mentioned a reference to Superman when Barry says trains are the safest way to travel, and Felicity was like, I thought that was planes. That's from Superman, so I really love that because that was in, I believe, the original movie, the very first one, and it was they did it in the Superman Returns too, where it's like planes are still the safest way to travel. So I thought that was a really cool little reference they did. The other 2 points are two things that actually bugged me about the episode, and they're only two minor little things. One was towards the end of the episode when Captain Cold got onto the train, because it was like he just walked and he was like, poof, he was on the train. And the train wasn't like, oh, it just started up or anything, which makes sense because if it was Barry, he would have just like got right on or something. But at the same time, I feel like it could have still been going a little slower. It looked like it was you could see the start of the train and it was coming into the scene as Captain Cold was already there. So it wasn't like it was just starting up or it was almost at full speed. It wasn't even at that platform yet and it was already coming down. It was like he kind of just hopped right on as if it was nothing. And it just didn't make any sense. Like it couldn't have just been slower and it still worked out the same way or something. I don't know. It just kind of took me out of it a little bit. Like the train was going way too fast for it to be even remotely realistic to me, even if the train was fake when it was coming, into the scene. The other part was actually the very beginning of the episode when Barry first runs into Captain Cold. It was like he could have easily, as far as I was concerned, it was like he's the fastest man alive. He could run and take this guy to the hospital, drop him off, and then run right back and just punch four guys in the face and like tie him up or something. And then that's it. Or just like grab one at a time after he knocks him out and take him to the police station or something. I honestly thought like he could just poof, run right back. He's good to go. Like no big deal. The guy was shot, I understand, but it's not like he'd have to really do that much. Take him and right in and just drop him off, or run right back. But those are like the only two things that I didn't really like. They just kind of took me out of it a little. Like it could have been done differently. But other than that, I love the episode. It was a really good episode. I mean, we got to see Felicity in this. It was really funny, like their interactions. One thing I really noticed about this, and it was something we actually haven't had in season 3 of Arrow yet, is Felicity saying silly things when she would say something really normal, like when she was like, I want to see it. And she was like, I mean, your superpower is like not something else, which would seem, nasty or anything. Like, I love that because she used to do that in Arrow a lot. And she did it a little bit in season 2. I think pretty much the entire second half of season 2, she didn't do that. And she still says a lot of silly stuff, but nothing to that effect. So I really love that. And she said it at another point in the episode too, which I thought was really funny. But I loved when she did that. Also, it made me notice Arrow is like night 100% of the time. It seems like they were talking outside and stuff, and it was like, wow, there's sunlight on Felicity's face. It's weird to see that because typically in Arrow, it's just them doing stuff at nighttime, and if it's day, they're at their jobs or something. And it was just really funny to me. Like, oh, she's actually in sunlight. It's weird to see Felicity actually just out enjoying the world. It was funny to me because I watch Arrow, so I noticed that too. It's just silly, but I love Felicity in this. Like her and Barry were just the chemistry between them. Like even just the actors in general, they really play off each other very well. I think, and they're just like such good fits for each other as far as actors and as well as the characters. How they were written are just really well done. It was so funny. All they get all the same jokes and stuff. They're like just two peas in a pod, but they kind of just can't be together because they both like other people. And it was just really cool to see them get along together in this episode. Felicity looked amazing in that black dress, which I think anyone can agree to that. But it was just a really good episode. Like I loved them and their chemistry and everything, and they accepted at the end. Like we're still good friends. That was more than the friend kiss goodbye at the end. Though there wasn't just like a little peck on the cheek. Like that was a straight up kiss goodbye. So I don't know what that really means, but they kind of seem like they agreed that for now at least they're kind of just stuck on other people. So it probably won't work. But I definitely loved it, and it was just really cool. So we got to see her interact with Team Flash, which was really cool, and they all got nerdy together, which was really funny. And she helped them out during the case because she was able to hack way faster than Cisco was. So that was really cool too, and they were just impressed with her. So that was really nice. And something else that popped into my head is that Felicity knows, her knowing Arrow. They talked about that with the team because Barry was like, yeah, she works with the Arrow. And it made me wonder if, Cisco and Caitlin, no big deal, but the professor, and I can't think of his name for whatever reason right now, him knowing that she works with the Arrow, I wonder if he already knew who Green Arrow was or if it even matters to him in any way, shape, or form. But if he didn't know that in the future, he now knows that, like, okay, she works with the Arrow, so if for whatever reason I need to get a one up on his identity, I can kind of look into things with her and see who she hangs out with a lot and things like that. So it was something that stood out to me. Like, he could use that to his advantage if for whatever reason he needed to know another superhero secret identity. But that kind of stood out to me for a quick second. But the main story of this episode I thought was really well done. Going, the Rogues. We Captain Cold being the start of the Rogues. It was really cool. Like Wentworth Miller, I always liked him as an actor, mostly because of Prison Break. That's kind of what I know him from. And he was in one Resident Evil movie as Chris. But I can't put that against him. But he was really good as Captain Cold. I love how they did the costume. Like at first, it was just it was him and the three guys. They were robbing the truck. Really simple. They were just in black gear, even though it's broad daylight. It doesn't matter. But they're in the black gear and all that stuff. Super simple. Then he comes in when he does like the little tour. He's in like just a typical jacket. Just it's fine. And when he went into like actual Captain Cold by the end of the episode, it was very similar to the comics. It was at least the coat was the same, so I enjoyed that. Like I think it would have looked a little weird if he like had it over his head the whole time, like while he was going through. But he was at least wearing the jacket and it had like the fur and stuff. So I thought that was really a really cool, simple way for them to do that. Where it's like, okay, it's the same color. It's not like super bright blue, but it's a nice dark blue and it has the fur and stuff. And he's Captain Cold, so they gave him the jacket. So I really thought that was a nice way to show the costume of the character without him looking exactly like the comic book with like a super bright blue coat on, which is I believe in the comic books it's more like a jacket really, so it was a bit tighter in the comics, and then the hood sort of seems out of place. It's sort of like a really skinny hood, but I thought it looked really cool in this episode. I liked him as a villain, and like all the way throughout I thought he was a pretty interesting villain. um, the way he deals with his partners, like, all right, you're out, and he shoots you and you're dead. Excuse me. I think the other two members, he'll probably find them at some point and then kill those guys off. But I enjoyed that. I liked him when he went to steal the diamond and the guy was like, freeze. And there are a million references of him saying, like, stay cool or cool off, all that stuff. But I loved when he did that and he was like, do you want to end up like the door? And the guy was just like, no. And he just ran off. Like, he didn't kill that guy. He didn't need to. And he just gave him the option, like, this is a waste. This is a waste of my time, and it'll just make you dead. So you just, you can get out of my face. And he just kind of let the guy go because there was no point. So I enjoyed that. And when he got busted at the end, he was just really calm about it. Like, all right, I'll get killed off. Like, I won't take the risk of getting killed, even if this guy's shaking. If I kill him, he could pull this trigger on me and I'll die. So, hey, I give up. You win, kid. And he just takes off with the gun and everything. Which I guess is another thing. Like, they could have told him to drop it, but at the same time, another one of those risky situations because Cisco was pushing his luck considering it ended up being a vacuum. But I enjoyed that whole scene. It was just like, all right, you win. And then he walks off and Cisco says to leave the diamond. He's like, don't push your luck. So I enjoyed his demeanor as a villain. It was like he's very strict with, more so with his partners than with random people. It was like he kills people when they want to get out because they know his identity. And then people who don't, it's like, either I have to kill you because I really got to beat the Flash, or you can just get out of my face because there's no one here stopping me and I don't really need to waste my time on you. So I love that. The end credit scene was actually with him instead of the professor. I wish I could think of his name right now, but I can't. But it was with him, and we got to see him go to another member of the Rogue. So next time they come in, we're going to have fire and ice, and that should be pretty cool. And depending on how they do that, they could do it where Flash takes on Captain Cold, and when they bring Ronnie back into the show as Firestorm, he can take on the other guy. And I can't think of the actual name of the the other Rogue character, but of course he's gonna be Fire. So I'm excited for them to come back. I feel like we might get next week's episode, or I guess the next episode, which isn't until the 11th or November 11th. So we'll get the next episode. It'll be sort of a one-off type of episode where they're doing something to train Barry and his powers and stuff. And then after that, we'll be able to get more of the Rogues, which I can't wait to see because they aren't wasting their time. They're doing the Rogues and they're giving us a super villain team to take on the Flash, which will probably transition into Arrow at some point. Maybe Arrow will come over into Flash, or maybe they'll do a really cool thing where it's just one set story and it's one episode of Arrow the day before, or I guess technically Flash is first, so it'll be the first part of the mission is with Flash, and then the second part will finish up in Arrow, so it'll be just like a 2 hour sort of mission that they have to take on when they deal with the Rogue. So I would love to see something cool like that because they can easily do it. The characters move back and forth all the time. So I hope we get to see that really soon. But I love the episode. Also got to see Barry almost say that he was changing the name from the Streak to the Flash. Of course, they cut that right when he was about to finish it. So I love that too. We got some stuff with the cop, his daughter. I honestly can't think of any of their names right now. I can think of Iris, but I can't think of her dad's name. I guess it's Joe. So we get this little story about them. I wasn't too concerned about that. I did enjoy it. My favorite part was definitely the explanation when he said, like, I'm not mad at you at all. The main problem is that he's not just a partner anymore. He's your boyfriend. He, in the future, could possibly be my son-in-law, and that's not something that's simple. It's not just, let's go in and deal with these villains. Let's go in where we could get killed and stuff, and we're just partners. It's, you mean so much to my daughter, which means, you have to mean so much to me, like way more than just a partner who has my back. You mean way more than that. You're like family now. So I really love that. That was my favorite part of that whole thing where he gives the explanation that it hurts him because he can't be 100% focused. Like, it'll suck if this guy dies, but meh. And now it's more like, it wouldn't just hurt me, it would hurt my daughter more than anything. So I love that explanation. That was without a doubt my favorite part of that. So it was cool to see that. Everything else about the episode, of course, was really good. Overall, I enjoyed it. Outside of like my little nitpicking moments that just kind of took me out of it for a split second, I really loved the episode. Of course, Felicity being in there doesn't hurt like at all. So love that too. But comment below, let me know what you guys thought about this one. Your favorite parts, the least favorite parts, and with the Rogues officially being in this episode, at least the start of the Rogues, and we get little hints towards the members kind of growing. What do you want to see? Like, which members of the Rogues, if you know who the Rogues are, which members do you want to see first? Like, we know who the second member is going to be already, but if you had to pick a third member, who would you want it to be? Like, out of the Rogues, who are your favorite characters? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.